This is the SCARPA Generator Mid. It's actually a pretty new shoe from SCARPA. I think it came out last year. And if you couldn't tell, it's kind of SCARPA's version of a TC Pro. And it actually is an update from their previous version of their kind of big wall and crack climbing shoe. But this shoe definitely takes some design principles and kind of some inspiration from some other shoes out on the market. And what do I mean by that? Well, obviously because they are a high top and they're kind of meant for crack climbing, you know, there is a lot of reference to like the TC Pros. They're very comparable to the TC Pros, and performance-wise, they perform very similarly. Although there are some key differences between the two. But the other inspiration for this shoe, I feel like, comes from something like the Katana. The Katana has a little bit of a downturn, and that's actually something that's kind of apparent in these. You know, these aren't just a flat shoe, which most big wall shoes and even like the TC Pros, they're a pretty flat shoe. They're an all-rounder shoe that's meant for all-day comfort and really good for like granite and like smearing on granite. Where I was actually surprised with these is that they do have that slight downturn in the toe, and you can feel it when you're climbing in these. Like there is just a little bit of a downturn, and that just gives you a little bit more confidence on overhanging terrain. And being able to use these for some bouldering, yeah, I've been able to use these for a little bit of bouldering, and it took a little while to get used to. I mean, I think doing any bouldering in any kind of all-rounder shoe kind of takes a little bit to get used to. I mean, they aren't like the most performance-oriented shoe, but I was actually really surprised on how good they were for just kind of just really getting onto those micro edges on the boulder and feeling really secure in them. Like, would this be my go-to bouldering shoe? No, it wouldn't. But it just feels nice to know that just because of that little bit more downturn in the toe, it kind of opens up what you're able to use these for. Now, I did say that these are kind of the big wall and crack climbing shoe, and that is very apparent. There is a ton of padding in here, like a lot. Like, it's way different than the TC Pros. If you thought the TC Pros were padded, these are on another level. Like, they actually have actual padding in the heels to protect your heels when you're crack climbing. The whole tongue is like all neoprene, and it's snug and it's padded. Like, these are a padded and very comfortable shoe. So if you're going to be doing some nasty off-width crack climbing or just any sharp kind of cracks, if you're going through this really kind of intensive granite crack, these might be a great shoe for you because they have tons of protection. And just as a side note, with all the protection that these shoes have, there's a little bit of a weight difference. These are a little bit heavier than the TC Pros, but that's to be expected. I mean, when you throw that much more material in these, you're going to have more weight. And I still feel like I'm kind of breaking them in still. I feel like a SCARPA shoe fits just a little bit differently than what I'm used to with La Sportiva. And I mean, I know it kind of sounds funny, but like, it's true. They fit a little bit differently. I feel like the toe box is kind of strangely tall with this shoe, and maybe that's just a problem with, not even a problem, but that's just how SCARPA shoes fit, and just something I'm not used to, because I definitely feel like if I don't get my toes in the right way, the toes feel like folded, and that's kind of uncomfortable, and it's like a little panic moment once you get the shoe on where you're like, oh my god, gotta fix this. So I feel like the toe box is kind of getting a little bit of time to get used to. And maybe it also is just like the rubber too. There's a really thick and burly rubber toe rand on this shoe, and it definitely kind of limits the flexibility in the toe box, or you feel a little bit more pinch points because of the rubber. But that might get better as time goes on and the kind of shoe softens up. But overall, these things are great, and they're definitely a shoe that I'm excited to get more pitches on, just because I think I haven't reached what the shoes can do yet. I feel like there's a lot of potential that these shoes can do, and I'm really just kind of excited to see where they'll take me.